hire good people and you don't have to manage them. And you can't just hit the pause button on everything else. They're just like, what's the update, Bob? I almost love when the team something up. Sometimes you just gotta ignore stuff. Hey, I'm Waleed, and this is your weekly dose.
Now is the time where we're going to hear from each other and fix everything that Dave just ruined in the last segment. So we're going to really set the record straight here as to what you should be doing. And in all honesty, I mean, Dave presented a model of business with specifics that's super valuable. It's going to help you get started. But like everything else in this business, there's a million different ways to run this thing. Right? And so we're going to hear from some different operators who are doing different things. You're going to get ideas about your pickup and delivery business, or you're going to get ideas about any of your other businesses that you run, self-serve laundry or whatever. Okay? All right, let me introduce you to the us that's going to be on the panel today. So first of all, Steve Andrews is here. He's coming up. Steve is... It says he's a relative newcomer to the industry, but he's, I mean, as a former podcast guest, any seat, you get first pick. Former podcast guest, he's pretty much a veteran here, okay? So he's worked extremely hard, quickly established his brand and vision for a high-end self-serve laundromats, first-rate laundry service in Nashville area. After spending 17 years in the rat race of the corporate world, Steve decided to step out in faith, jump wholeheartedly into the laundromat business, quickly grown his footprint to 2 stores with potential 3rd on the way soon. Love that. While adding pickup and delivery, drop-off service, and commercial service to his available offerings, he's experienced all the ups and downs that go along with the entrepreneur life and a growing business, in love with the industry and the people in it, hopes one day to make this a legacy business for his family. This is Steve Andrews. Give him a welcome. All right, next up, Ross Dodds over here. Ross and his husband, Russell, first got into the laundromat industry in 2014 when they closed on their first laundromat in Hollywood, and then 5 days later, his laundromat burned down. In fact, I mean, if you don't know Ross's story, you gotta talk to Ross about his story. It's insanity. But by January 1st, 2017, when that first Hollywood location reopened after the fire, they also acquired and remodeled a second location that opened the same day. So he bought a laundromat. It burned down 5 days later. It took like a year, right? 2 years to get that thing rebuilt, and opened another one on the same day. So he's just a glutton for punishment. And if you are on any of the Facebook groups, you already know he's a glutton for punishment because his vans are always being wrecked. But since then, he's expanded to 8 retail locations, 1 pickup and delivery facility in LA to operate the pickup and delivery business with Wash Club Track software platform. And last year in 2021, Russell was able to leave the corporate job and join the business 100%. So they got a full-on operation, and the most important things are not even in this janky bio, okay? So also former podcast guest, and we got an investment fund going together too. So great partnership for me because he knows what he's doing and I don't. So Waleed Cope also joining us. Waleed's an entrepreneur, investor, and small business advisor who has developed multi-million-dollar businesses based in New York. Waleed has 30 years of laundry experience. Is that true? This feels like a lie. You're not old enough to have 30 years of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know. Well, yeah. But he's got the soapbox, and it's a premier laundry, dry cleaning experience, sneaker cleaning, which I could probably use, actually, enterprise in the region. He has leveraged social media to build a dynamic network and other small business owners and subject matter experts. Waleed welcomes the opportunity to share his insights so the industry as a whole can grow together. And again, quite the janky bio here. First of all, there's lies in it. And second of all, also a former podcast guest, but also he's got his own podcast. I've been trying to plug this thing all day, so maybe you should just take out your phones, open your Apple Podcast app, and subscribe to the Converse and Chill podcast, or get on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, genuinely, or Instagram. Genuinely, he and his wife they're creating crazy good content and also crazy amounts of content there. So you guys are doing some crazy stuff, and it's business ownership and general stuff, right? You guys are killing it. I follow your stuff. I like all your stuff. I comment. Love it. All right, and then, oh no, Alex. Okay. Alex, I legit was like, okay, tell me how to pronounce your name. Is it? Wait, no. Smereznick. It's not spelled that way at all. This is Alex Smereznick. He's got 10 years of experience in the industry, laundry and dry cleaning industries. Most recently as a co-founder and CEO of 2U Laundry and LaundroLab. 2U Laundry is a premier pick-up delivery model based out of Charlotte. It's raised over $10 million in venture capital. It's cleaned over 2 million pounds of wash, dry, fold. That's a lot. That's a lot of laundry. LaundroLab is an elevated laundromat franchise focused on modernizing the laundromat experience through proprietary technology, experiential store design, and a national account partnership with 2U Laundry that guarantees franchisees pickup and delivery volume. Very cool. We got a very diverse panel up here, a lot of different experiences, a lot of different business models. So looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. I'm going to kick us off with a couple questions, and then like yesterday with the self-serve panel, we'll take some questions from the audience. So feel free to get out your notes from Dave's seminar, and let's get some clarity on what the real deal is from some of what Dave said. All right, you guys good?
Good.
All your mics on?
I think so.
See?
Hello?
Good.
See?
Oh, look at Ross bringing the SoCal Spanish over here. All right.
That's all I got.
I feel like, can we all do this? I feel like we all just need to like lose a button, because Ross has been rolling around with that chest hair billowing out, and I just feel like we just need to all turn it loose here. Okay, good.
Why are you on that side today?
Dude, I change it up, you know? You got to keep it fresh, and like these faces are prettier to look at than these faces. So, okay, it's true, but I shouldn't have said it out loud. Okay, so I don't know. Should we go easy, or should we give them a layup here, or should we like just slam them right now? Slam them, dude. These guys are rough. Okay, so what did you guys disagree with what Dave said? That's a genuine question. I really want to know. Waleed, I know you're going to have some kind of opinion somewhere. So let's hear what you have to say about what Dave said.
So, Jordan, first of all, disagree is such a strong word.
Okay, what Dave said did you hate?
Now I'm feeling it. Okay. So I wouldn't say disagree. And one point that's come up in a lot of conversations that we've had this week is there's one paintbrush that's being used to paint the industry. When we look around this room all this week, you talk to everybody, there is no one consistent model. And everybody needs to understand that. What works for Dave, what works for Ross, what works for Alex, what works for Steve, what works for Brandon, what works for everybody in here might not work in my market. You need to know your market. Take something from Dave, take something from Ross, take something from Alex, take something from Steve, and see how that fits your market, and then shoot to the moon with it. There's no reason I need to disagree with anything Dave says. He might say something and be like, I don't know, whatever numbers he put on the screen, and I plug it into my market, and I'm like, whoa. But I'm not going to disagree with it. I need to figure out and look at the equation that Dave used, not the numbers, and say, how does that equation plug into my world? So, sorry, Jordan, I couldn't bring the hate for you.
But no, that's good. It was a trap, and you averted it. No, but I mean, okay, I'm like I get nothing from this, but this is the kind of stuff that's on this podcast and this YouTube and this Instagram. You just need to. I love that though. Like you said, like there's not one paintbrush, right? And that's kind of been one of the themes. I know I've talked with Dave a whole lot leading up to this thing, and he's like, I want to put people on these panels and people up on the stage that not everybody's going to agree with, because that's how we get better. That's how we grow, right? If everybody's just saying the same stuff, we're not going to grow as an industry. And the whole point of this thing and the whole point of what we're all trying to do here is grow our businesses and grow our industry, right? So I love that, and I love that you were able to tell us what you hated about Dave's thing in a very nice way. So good job. But seriously, I'm joking about hating and disagreeing and all that stuff. But I mean, like we said, there's a lot of different models. So I'm curious, is there anything that you guys found that's different about your models or the way that you run things than what Dave was talking about?
We are route-based, but we go to all of our areas every single day. That would be our biggest difference.
We're the same way.
We are a blocked out period, 3 to 4 hours typically in each of our zones, and in the evening only.
Let me ask you this: Did you start that way?
No.
How did you start?
When we started, we had 2-hour windows, and we had 4 windows in the morning and 4 windows in the PM. And then we switched to just 1 window in the morning and 1 window in the PM. And finally, we did away with mornings, and now are just PM for our residential pickups and AM for our commercial pickups.
So you're kind of route-based and window-based, kind of both.
Yeah, because we're in such a large area, we had to zone it out a little bit. So we have 4 zones currently, but they only differ by an hour. They're still all in the evening.
That's not even enough time to like get across the city.
That's why we start in Santa Monica at nighttime, because
Yeah.
you're going again away from traffic.
Yeah, smart. Go ahead, Steve. You were.
Yeah, so I was going to say the same thing. We started literally twice. So we had 2 specific areas that we were focused on, 2 different counties, or each a separate route. So we're in Metro Nashville, which is Davidson County, and then the county just south of Nashville, Williamson. So we would go to Williamson 2 days a week and then go to Davidson 2 days a week. As we grew, we found that more and more of our customers, we were getting some feedback, hey, well, you've got me on 2. I'd love to do it on Wednesday. So as we grew, everything kind of filled in, so we were able to hit both areas 4 days a week. Now, it was tough sometimes because we had such a large area, and I think, if you're looking at your area, you need to understand the geography for sure, kind of like he talked about understanding traffic. So we had, if you're asking about failures later on, so I'll just lead this out here. We covered too much of an area in the beginning and kind of bit off more than we could chew. The way we set up our routes allowed us to kind of overcome that in the beginning, but as it expanded, it became more and more and more and more. So I think for us, it was kind of the same approach. We started out with specific days, and then we expanded to every day after that. And it worked pretty well. Our customers were excited about it, and we actually grew because when they would sign up, they'd say, oh, well, I've got more options here. So.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's just do it. Let's talk about how you guys all have sucked over the years. And but let's talk about some of these lessons, these learning lessons. But let's start kind of on the bigger, kind of broader scale. I know you have like a little bit broader of a perspective too. Like what mistakes do you see? Because I think, I hear a lot of kind of 2 things, right? Like pickup and delivery can take your business to the next level. It can really you can do like tens of thousands of dollars more, a month, add pickup and delivery. And yet, I think even Dave said this at one point or another. I wasn't really paying attention. But I think he even said that, a lot of people who start out in pickup and delivery, and Dave even, right, lose money, So it doesn't do you any good to do $30,000 extra dollars of business if you're spending $35,000 extra dollars a month, right? So there's things to learn, and so these mistakes, these learning lessons are, I think, probably even more important in the pickup and delivery space. So what kinds of mistakes do you see people making?
I think Dave nailed it with the whole pricing element. That's something that we had to iterate through several times. We tried subscription model. We tried per pound. We tried per bag. And ultimately what ended up working for us was per bag, because customers, when you look at a pile of clothes sitting in front of you, they have no idea if that's 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds. And so it became easier to say, no, hey, this is going to be $40 up front. We knew how much the bag can hold. And then over time, we start seeing customers, like clockwork, 20 pounds a bag instead of the 40 that it can hold. And so then you get breakage on top of it. And you can market the bag as $1 per pound, basically, but you're really getting $2 to $2.20 by charging per bag. And that was something that we just had to test, trial and error over the last 6 years.
Yeah, we'll get into the pricing too, but the pricing models, I think, is a hot topic in the industry. The per bag, the per pound, all that stuff. And I know people have strong opinions, so maybe we'll duke it out here on stage a little later. What about you guys? Steve shared a little bit of, starting too big and having to come down, but.
So I'm kind of a dork. You can ask my wife. I literally went online and I have this huge map. I mean, it's like as large as these rugs hanging on my wall behind my desk, and has all the zip codes on it. So I would go in and say, okay, how many customers do I have here, here, and here? And then I would be able to kind of hone in on where everybody was. And once I finally did that, I figured out where they were, and I'm like, okay, I've got 8 customers here. I've got one guy way down here. Why in the heck am I driving all the way down there? Of course, that was the question my driver was asking me, and when I saw it visually, it made sense to me. So I think, in my opinion, if you're starting out especially, start small. That'll give you the chance to really perfect what you're doing. And then as you get more and more brave, then you can kind of expand out. But again, know your geographical area to know which areas to really expand to. So.
Yeah, we operate on zip code based too, and in the beginning it would be like I'd get a call and they're like right on the border. So then I would add the zip code, and then all of a sudden that zip code drops way down. So that first customer that was on the border of our last one, now I get an order that's 20 more minutes, because it's LA, in the same zip code. So we kind of stopped doing that. We went back to really looking at what zip codes made sense. If it does one of these things on the map, then we probably aren't adding it. And so when we corrected that and moved away from being able to order 5 minutes before the 2-hour zone, that really changed a lot of me dashing out the door.
Yeah, no, it is. And Waleed, I want to ask you too, but maybe real quick, because you have kind of a unique model that you're doing. Can you kind of just describe a little bit about how you're running pickup and delivery right now?
Totally. But before I answer that, your question was what mistakes we see people making. And from this week, just being in the industry, the biggest one I see, we all wait too long. I heard Sharon say it yesterday. She's like, I wish I'd have done it sooner. Like every one of us in here has like some idea or some feature or something you want to do with your business, and like you're thinking and you're thinking and you're thinking about it. Like I'm so guilty of it. Like I will pencil it in my notebook over and over instead of just launching it and fixing it as you go. It will never be perfect. Yeah. Like we're entrepreneurs. Things are supposed to break, and our job is to figure it out and fix it really freaking fast. So yeah, mistakes. So pickup and delivery. Like we're a little unique. We're in the New York, Brooklyn market. We only do pickup, delivery, and drop off. We have a retail storefront. I'm probably gonna like blow everybody's mind. We're 700 square feet. And we're rocking and rolling all day, every day, 7 days a week. Walk-in clients come in, drop off, and we run pickup and delivery 7 days a week. We do 12 hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we have 0 drivers. We're 100% gig economy pickup and delivery. And we've been doing it for 7 months straight. So everyone that's telling you, like, don't use the gig economy, you can't use Uber, DoorDash, et cetera, they're puffing smoke. And I'm just telling you like it is. I've ran the store for 7 months. We went from 13 employees, 6 drivers, we have 4 team members. We're super lean. Expensive, What are they? I have no more drivers. But I'm not saying the end-all be-all is the gig economy. We're testing it. We're bringing on 2 more drivers again next week. It's a tool in your toolkit. You can do so much more with it. But I'm sure that'll come up in other questions, but that's kind of our unique story.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, the reason I wanted you to kind of explain your, you know, your model a little bit, because it's so different, right? Like we think of, you know, when we think of pickup and delivery, a lot of times we think of having a store and, you know.
I mean, we had a store.
Yeah.
We was full self-service, laundromat, walk-in, drop-off, and we realized we're serving 2 different avatars, as Dave mentioned earlier. We had a walk-in, drop-off client who values time. And then we had the self-service client who doesn't mind sitting there 3 hours, bring their family, you know, do whatever in the laundromat and get their laundry done. And we sat there and watched people bump into each other. The attendant is taking care of a machine and somebody's waiting to get their drop-off for like, you know, 4 minutes. Our average client waits now 45 seconds tops, drop off, pick up, and they're out the door. And 45 seconds, we're losing our minds at 45 seconds, like what's taking so long? So we went from self-service, we started doing pickup and delivery, and I swore I would never do pickup and delivery. I'll say it on camera, I swore I would never do it, and that's all we do. And we ended up phasing out our self-service and going 100% pickup and delivery and drop off.
Can I ask you guys this? After, I'm going to ask this one question, and then we're going to open it up for some of you guys to ask some questions. I have like a huge laundry list of questions, so if you guys are not asking questions, I'm just going to go off on these guys. So get your questions ready. Let me ask you this, because I think this would be an interesting thing to hear, and you know, maybe they're all the same or maybe not. How long did it take you guys to be profitable in your pickup and delivery business?
Over 2 years.
So similar to Dave, who took 2.5 years. It took you 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that was our expansion on self-serve laundries at the same time. So pickup and delivery was just kind of like the ancillary product, but it's not at all. And when we finally grew enough and moved it to our private facility that we built and made it its own company, that's when it shifted, because it's its own animal, own company. I don't really suggest just adding pickup and delivery just because you have laundry machines, unless you want another job.
More jobs. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I agree 100% with Ross. It is a completely different animal. I literally, when I first got into the business, opened my first laundromat, I thought, okay, I'm going to start self-serve, learn how to do that, really get good at it. Then we'll do drop-off, perfect that. And then at some point down the road, I'll add pickup and delivery. And so I started talking about it, and it was really starting expanding. And I thought, let's go ahead and do it now. I think we're ready. And it could be an ancillary business, If I can do extra 50, 100 grand a year in revenue, that'd be spectacular, And yeah, it's a lot more than that. If you think of it from an ancillary perspective, then you're going to fail not only yourself, but your customers. I think it's really important to look at it, like he said, as a completely separate entity even. We don't do it that way, but I do treat it the way I manage it, the way my employees are set up, everything as a completely separate deal. It's both absolutely wonderful and both an absolute hell at the same time. So you have to be prepared for both when you go in, because it's not as easy as self-serve, obviously, and it's not as easy as drop-off, because I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's a logistical business, and it is. It's absolutely a logistical business, but it's also a very intensive operational business, because not only do you got to pick it up and return it, it's what happens in the middle that can really kill you when it comes to your bottom line. So I think for us, it took a lot of trial and error. So again, I was like, let's just do this. It'll be a good opportunity. I kind of used the drug dealer method in the beginning. We were giving it out basically for free. Let's see how many crackheads we can create.
Hey kid, come over to the fence here. Let me do your laundry.
Man, that's kind of the way we were pricing it, honestly.
This is going
So
downhill really
anyway,
fast.
you know, you deal with a lot of that in laundromats, right? But anyway, so as we really started kind of looking at the bottom line and perfecting our process, you know, we slowly raised our prices over time. It took us a good couple years before we were able to get into the black. And, you know, once you get the price right, once you get the right team, and, you know, for us, and I was talking with someone about this earlier today, and Dave mentioned it as well. He called it redundancies, I think. I call them contingencies. You have to have a contingency for every single thing. So I found myself having to go out and drive my van on a regular basis, which was extremely annoying because I couldn't be sitting and focusing on growing the business in other ways. So you need to have tons of contingencies, not only for the drivers, for the processors, for whatever it is. But if you get all those things in place and you're able to thread the eye of the needle, then you'll be really glad in the end, because it can be a fabulous business if you do it the right way.
Ours was a little bit different. It took us like 5 to 6 months because we didn't have our own stores. We didn't have any of that overhead, and we, I think, got lucky out of the gate with how we priced it from what we had learned doing this in college. We ran another pickup and delivery business in college, so we knew some of the things that we needed to do, and we started 2U back in 2016. But we were just partnering with local, other store operators, mom and pops. We knew, what to ask from them. We knew how to price it, and because of that, low overhead, we're profitable quickly. And then just as we scaled, though, we realized the challenges that come with the amount of volume that we were starting to do. Is we couldn't, we eventually had 3 laundromats, all with different personalities, some with 20-year-old equipment, some with brand new equipment, some with a 1,000 square foot location, some with a 4,000 square foot location. And just all those different variables led us to a point where we eventually had to build our own stores and vertically integrate, and that just only made the margin better, the quality control, significantly better. We were designing stores for pickup and delivery instead of designing them as a laundromat.
Yeah, I like that, like flipping it on its head there and designing for the pickup and deliveries. I mean, that's killer. And I see like, the people who have a laundromat add a pickup and delivery and are successful with that. I think of like who was just showing, somebody sent me a video and they were showing me they're trying to find places to put laundry, and they're stacking them on the bulkheads, and they had shelves outside that were covered, and like it gets crazy, right? But designing pickup and delivery first is kind of an interesting model. Okay, I want to open it up to questions here. I saw a hand. Do we have some mics going around? Yeah, they're coming around here. All right, so there's one back here, and there's one up here too, if we want to run a couple mics.
I had a question for the gentleman that only does drop-off. What's your store name in New York?
The Soapbox.
The Soapbox? Okay. Or I can write it down. And then, do you think it's the future of laundry in general? I mean, I guess in urban areas, it's probably the future, but I mean, how big do you think a city has to be, or an urban core has to be, where it can be successful?
Great question. My answer is, it's my future. I have no idea what everybody else's future is. I'm not Nostradamus. I can't predict the future. But I know what we're doing. I know what feels right for us, and I know what our data and our market says. Where are you from?
Austin, Texas, but downtown, I kind of wanted to do something similar, like a smaller store,
Right.
Where it was, I just don't see as many self-serve. I see a lot of people working from home, and they just, they want everything on demand. I don't know how to explain it, but.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Alex.
Alex.
Yeah.
So you're in Austin, Texas. Look at your market. Like, get the data, get all the demo you can. Don't overanalyze it. Figure out what you want to do in the laundry space, and then go for it. If you feel that way, and your data and your market shows that most people are going to be home because how COVID has turned everybody's markets upside down.
Right.
Like, I can't tell you how many times we've pivoted. It's every time we see something change, I come home, I'm like, Jess, X, Y, and Z, and she's just like, get the checkbook. Like,
You need to talk to my wife, because that's not what she says to me.
like I'm just so lucky. Like, she supports that. She gets it. Like, we've been married since 2015. We haven't gone on a honeymoon yet. Our honeymoon, we opened a laundromat the next day. We got married on Friday, opened the laundromat on Saturday. So I say that to say, like, that worked for us.
Yeah.
Look at the demo in your area. Look at, do you want to do pickup? If you feel that most of your clientele is going to be at home working because they're still doing the Zoom thing, then set up that pickup and delivery and run it lean. Like, you can do pickup and delivery and you don't need all these bells and whistles. Honestly, you can give me $1,000 and I can start pickup and delivery in your neighborhood. It doesn't take much.
Do you send the laundry off, and then also do you have dry cleaning along with pickup and delivery?
So we have 3 revenue streams.
Okay.
We do wash and fold, we do dry cleaning, and we do sneaker cleaning. That's it. So we've got you head to toe. I won't do anything else because it fits.
I like that.
And we're comfortable with it. Like, and we love that. So people have approached us and it's like, oh, you know, you should, I don't know, like clean carpets and sofa cushions or what. Well, let me take that back. I'm thinking about sofa cushions. Like, there's a market for that when the weather changes, trust me. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure.
A quick question. How do you go about recruiting the gig drivers?
What's your name?
Roger Heldman I'm from Cincinnati.
We don't recruit the gig drivers. So the way it works, we place an order. Think of your local restaurant. Like Postmates, DoorDash shows up, or Uber Eats. It's whoever accepts the job. But here's the catcher. And people are going to say this all the time. You have no control over the quality of the gig worker. 100% true. I'm not even going to sit here and blow any smoke to you. You can't control it. But let's be clear. Control is an illusion. You don't even control half the employees that work for you. You think you do, but you don't. You build a relationship with them, and you're trying to guide them to do what you need to do for your business to be successful. But here's the key with the gig economy. You have to treat them like they're part of your team. So I'll give you a great example. You come into the lobby. First, we have a big sign outside that says, all dashers, please come inside. Go to the next time you're at a restaurant or you're anywhere and a gig economy worker comes in. Watch how that establishment treats them. Why would you treat someone who's taking your product to someone's home? And most of the time it's food. Like, I'm more scared of somebody delivering my food than my laundry because I'm putting that in my body. So, but look how they treat them. You come into our lobby, after they see the sign, they come in. We have a refrigerator and we have a snack station set up just for all of our dashers. They get free snacks every time they come in, water and juice. And they appreciate that more than anything. And then when they pick up from us and come back the second or third, I've got dashers show up 4 or 5 times a day, the same person. We've built a relationship with them. And we keep thinking of what are these other things we can do for dashers or Uber. Like, you should see my Uber bill for last month because we had so many screw-ups with deliveries and I had to put it in an Uber and deliver it. What we do, we treat them as they're an extension of our family. So to answer your question, you can't choose, but when the person shows up, you treat them as their extension of your team and they will treat your product a certain way. But the other piece is you're going to get bad drivers. Depending on what platform you use that has an integration with it, you have the ability to rate that driver, and you can report for what they did, and you have the ability to make sure they never receive a job from your establishment again. So if you have that one bad experience, you get them blocked. Problem solved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, I'm Tony from Arizona. I'm here with my father-in-law. We're new. We've got 2 locations, and we do wash and fold already. We haven't even been open a year. Believe it or not, we're on our 2nd pickup drop-off platform. And so my question is for the panelists, if you could tell us what platform you're using, what technology you're using for pickup and delivery, and what you like about it and why you chose it?
I talked a lot, you guys.
We've used a couple when we first started because at first we didn't have the resources to build our own, so we used some off-the-shelf solutions. But eventually, over time, we needed the optionality that Dave talked about earlier, and what worked for our business. And there weren't solutions that were readily available. It was always this kind of you know, this works for these use cases, this one works for these use cases, and we had, you know, something that was, you know, different. So we eventually ended up building our own in-house, but that took a lot of time and investment to do that.
I've tried a little bit of everything. We've used a number of different ones. Currently, we just switched over to Sense back in December. And you know, honestly, there are positives about every single one of the platforms that are out there because there's a lot of really smart people that put them together. I think once you kind of sit down and think about how you want your business to flow and the things that are important to you, and interview all of them, talk to every single one of them, because I guarantee you they'll all talk to you. And you can even ask them, you know, hey, so how do you guys compare to these guys? So that'll give you the chance to kind of hear them say, well, you know, we do this, and this is why we're better, and then you make your own decision. I really think it's important, though, that you really focus on what the end customer experience is like. You want to understand that what your customer is going to experience is something that you would want to experience. So that was always been my real big question, is like, show me what they see. I want to see what they see. And I think if you go that route and pick something that you feel comfortable with, then you'll be able to succeed. And again, like Waleed said, just like anything in this business, there's always the opportunity to pivot. We've done that a lot too.
We're a wash club with Wash Club Track. We're Wash Club branded, but he does white label too. You can be your own brand. I met him at Clean Show in 2015, and we just really kind of hit it off. There's great software. I think it's kind of like your distributor. Find who's going to partner with you and care after they sell you the product. So I have a great relationship with Rick Rome. I gave you an example. I called him up one time after we had started, and I was asking him, I think, why doesn't do something in the software or something? And he was like, well, it takes time to add it. And I was like, that doesn't sound like my problem. And he was like, you know what, Ross? Go fuck yourself. So I was like,
What'd you say in response? I gotta know.
I was like, that's why I love you, Rick. So yeah, find your partner. There's a lot of great software out there. So.
We've tried and demoed everything, like Clean Tie, Sudsy, Curbside, StarchUp, Dark POS, Smart. The only thing we haven't looked at or used is Spot. And I would say to anyone, one, you need to look at, Steve brought up a good point. You need to look at what's your business model, but what's going to be your client's experience with it. We've used web-based ordering, we use app, pros and cons for every one of them. You got to figure out what's best for you and your business. What I would add to that is what Steve said, talk to all of them. They'll talk to you. But when you're speaking with them, listen to them. Are they telling you what you can't do with your business that you have to do only with their software? Are they telling you you need to, and they're not telling you directly, are they telling you like subliminally, you need to change your business model to fit their software? No SaaS product is going to ever be 100% for what you need. They can't be everything to everybody. So you really have to dig in and look at them and see, does this fit your model? At one point, we used 2 platforms at the same time. We did double entry all day long. We had Clean Cloud for the counter, and we did StarchUp for pickup and delivery. And you talk about chaotic. But it worked, because one platform had what we needed for pickup and delivery, but one had what we needed for in the store. So 7 months ago, give or take, after a year, maybe and a half long, like a year courtship, we switched 100% over to Sense. And we run our pickup and delivery and our walk-in business off of it now for the past like 7 months.
I have a question about quality assurance and compensation and retention structures. Could you guys talk to, or would you guys just elaborate on those points?
Yeah, this is one where I think when we started to build our own technology, this was a huge driver, was just figuring out, cleaning clothes is not a glamorous job. No one likes doing their own laundry for a few hours, let alone someone else's for 8. And so we were trying to find ways to, we looked at other jobs that are not ideal or maybe not as enjoyable as others, and looked at what other companies were doing. We noticed this theme of gamification of how do we make this task that is typically not very fun, somewhat exciting, and so we actually pay per pound that our folders fold, per pound that our sorters sort, and our technology is done in a way where we know the weight of everything that's coming through, where it is in the stage, which washer it is, which dryer it's in, when it's done, et cetera. And so they can see real time. There's on the TV, there's dashboards showing that, hey, Alex is beating Stacy, Jared, and Chris, and so they're all kind of trying to one up each other, but they're also getting paid more the faster they go. And then to counterbalance with quality, the QA leads. If I rush through a bag and I fold it like this and just throw it in a bag, and it doesn't pass QA, it gets sent back to me, and so I'm really just wasting my own time and earning less money as a result of that. And so there's these checks and balances in place, but again, there wasn't an off-the-shelf solution for us to do that. We eventually had to iterate through it. At first on paper, we were just timing everything, and we'd have our team leads, hey, this is where you're at, Alex, every 30 minutes, just to kind of give them a verbal heads up, but now it's all automated real time, and that's helps tremendously.
Yeah. Again, you heard me talk a minute ago about customer experience. That's my everything and everything that we do, whether it be self-serve, drop-off. So whenever we first started doing pickup and delivery, I kind of had a conversation with all of my processors and my driver. I said, hey, look, so typically these people are paying a premium for what you're delivering to them. So you need to focus on what that premium delivery is going to look like. So if they open up the bag and you've got mom and dad's shirt, brother, sister shirt, dad's shirt, and then another mom's shirt, and then another dad's shirt, that's going to be frustrating for them to put away. So we even talk about, if you're able to, eventually you learn the customer. They know their names, they know what they want. They're able to then separate by even person in the household. Because I told them, I said, imagine how easy it is if you bring your laundry in from the front door, here's brothers, here's sisters, here's mom and dad, and you just drop them off at their door, and they're able to then go in and put it away. So again, customer experience, what they see on the end, we really, really, really focused on that and pounded that into their heads. Not literally, but anyway, that to me is the most important thing when it comes to offering a service that you're charging $2.50 for, $2 for, whatever it is a premium service. And honestly, you'll be surprised at who your customer is a lot of times. We drop off at some places that I'm a little concerned about sometimes. So it doesn't matter who it is, they deserve the top-notch quality that you're going to be able to provide them. And you will blow some people's minds if you do it the right way. I mean, so a mom who's been doing her laundry for the whole household, or a dad, right, has been doing the laundry for their household for the past 10 years, and all of a sudden you've given them back all that time, and then that end product that you provide them is like 10 times better than what they were doing. Oh, yeah, you got some real advocates for you going forward. So.
Hello, Jerry from Fort Lauderdale. So I have a question for the panel. I heard someone say you're in 2 counties. So how far out, like how many miles out do you allow your drivers to drive? And how do you guys efficiently, how do you avoid traffic? Someone said you were doing your pickup and deliveries in the evening. How do you avoid traffic?
There's really no way to avoid traffic in Los Angeles. I mean, it can be 4 in the morning and you're sitting in traffic if it's the 101. There's no great way to deal with it. We deal with it in the morning, we deal with it in the evening. We try to work with traffic flow. Some places, like we go to the valley in one of our zones, it doesn't matter whether you're going over or back over. Each direction is bad. Like our farthest, Santa Monica, I mean, that's 11 miles. Going there, we can do that in under 20 minutes. But if we were coming from Santa Monica directly back to the location without making our way through pickups, that would be 2 hours, 2.5 hours at traffic hour. So we do our best, but and it's obviously better on our busier nights because our pickups are closer together with our routing. So we just have to get to kind of like our furthest point first and go from there.
Hey guys, Pat from Connecticut. It seems like there's a pretty straightforward formula to measure like opportunity for self-service. And you guys talk a lot about demographics, knowing your market and stuff like that. What are you doing to evaluate the like pickup and delivery opportunity on top of the self-service?
Who wants to take that? Well, I can't say on top of self. Well, we used to do self-service, but if you're talking, and let me make sure I understand your question. You're trying to gauge if I'm going to do pickup and delivery, what is my opportunity if I do it in X county or X neighborhood or zip code? It's a great question. And listen, there's no magic, there's no silver bullet. And that's what a lot of us, we know as operators, but sometimes we just don't let ourselves process that. It's lead bullets. You got to keep doing it over and over and over. But what I would say is we started super small. When we did pickup and delivery, we looked at other shops, and I'm not even going to say competitors, because if you're my competitor, that means I operate from a scarcity mentality. The neighborhood that I live in, our stores in, and I grew up in, proper, exact boundaries, there are 150,000 residents. 150,000 residents in just my neighborhood. And granted, I'm in Brooklyn, New York. It's like we're on top of each other, we're vertical. But you go to the suburbs, it's horizontal. But if you looked at, let me back up. What I see a lot of operators doing, and I was guilty of it in the beginning, is they want to throw this big net and catch a whole bunch of fish and drag it on a boat, and then you got to sort through it. We said, wait a minute. Back in the day, I'm so going to date myself, there was a company called MCI. I urge everyone in here to look up the case study on how they grew their business. And MCI was back in the day when there was long distance phone calls. You had to get like calling cards. You had a long distance service. Like some people are nodding their heads and smiling. The rest of you are like, what is long distance calling? Like this guy must be 100 years old. And they started very small. And they saturated the market. And they took the profits from that market. And then they went to the neighboring market. And we used that model. So we started in Bedford-Stuyvesant in our neighborhood where I knew the backyard, I knew backyards, I knew the neighborhood like the back of my hand. And we went old school. We went flyers, we went billboards, and we saturated that market first. And truth be told, I still haven't saturated. There are 150,000 people. If 50,000 people placed an order once a week, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. Because I would have flew in on my private jet 5 minutes before. I shouldn't say sitting here. I wouldn't have been here all week. I'd have flew in just before 9:50, shook Dave's hand, hugged him. I'd have jumped on the panel, answered a couple of questions, and back on the jet to go somewhere else. We aren't even, there's so much untapped potential in our markets. Yeah. What we're not using, ladies and gentlemen, is the data. Like we're valuing the real estate, the washers, the dryers, and all that. The most important and the most valuable thing in your store is the data in your, and I'm going to say POS because that's what the terminology is used, but my business management system for my store. The data in it is way more important. If the soapbox blows up today while I'm here on stage and having a great time with everybody here, I'll go download my client list, I'll email and text them all tomorrow. We're down the block at this new building. Drop off your clothes there, and my pickup and delivery customers, they don't care where I am. So answer your question, I would look super niche. Look at Zillow, look at all the free stuff where you can get demographics. How often do homes sell in the neighborhood? Like, get all that data, it's free. look at it. That's the area you want to be in. That's the type of clientele. What's the net worth of the neighborhoods that we service? I'll give you one even better. How many people know the top 20% of their clients that use your service? 80-20 rule. 20% of our clients are driving 80% of our revenue. How many of us know 20% of our clients, who our 20% are? Raise your hands.
Yeah, I did.
6, 7 people raise their hand, and maybe a few don't want to do it, so maybe like 15 people. Like, I challenge you when you leave here to go home, download the data from your POS, business management software, or your Square, whatever you use, and put it in a CSV file, put it in a spreadsheet, and look at the numbers. You'll be shocked. And you're probably marketing to the wrong people. So I answered your question, but I'm sorry, I just went off on a total tangent because I'm so passionate about how we're not using data in the laundry industry.
I just want to add one thing to what Waleed said. The wonderful thing about pickup and delivery is, so you've got a laundromat, right? And you've pinpointed where you wanted to put your laundromat or where you wanted to buy a laundromat based on the demographics in a 1 mile, 3 mile, 5 mile radius, right? Well, as soon as you add pickup and delivery, your radius expands, of course, based upon where you want to be. And that's the wonderful thing about it. Not only do you add more potential customers, but you also add more potential income levels, like he was saying, to your customer base as well. Now, as far as saying, okay, this zip code versus that zip code versus that zip code, a lot of that for us was trial and error. The areas that I thought were going to be spectacular were awful, and the ones I thought were going to be awful turned out pretty good.
And I think it goes back to the 5-year plan. We kind of didn't do that, and now we're going backwards, and that's why we weren't profitable for so long, because I was like, pick up and delivery. We're in LA. We have to do it. It just is an add-on business to what we have. And then I just kept opening laundromats at the same time, so I didn't give any. And I mean, now because we're in LA, it's probably as big as it is. But what could it be if I didn't do any self-serve laundries? I could probably be 10 times bigger with pickup and delivery. And if I didn't do pickup and delivery and lose money for 2 years, I could probably have 20 self-serve laundries. So I think figuring out which business you want to be in, you can do both. And we are doing it. I don't know. I wouldn't do it again that way.
Why?
Because now, as I've been in the business for the 5 or 6 years, whatever it is now, I found what I enjoy. I enjoy the networking, meeting other laundromat owners, going in their laundromats, seeing what they're doing good and what I would like to change, and waiting for the ones to go out of business that are. I enjoy the remodel and the projects.
That's it.
And the management has always been my biggest challenge. I mean, I went from managing 5, 6 employees when we first launched, and that was the most people I ever managed in my life. And now we're just about at 40, and I don't know that I'm any better managing them today than I was when I started. So those are my hugest challenges. So I want to remove the stress and do what I enjoy.
Yeah, over there.
Guys, first, thanks for being open and honest. It's been pretty cool so far this morning. Curious if the panel could share at all your thoughts on presentation to the end customer. There's lots of fold options. Do you offer different fold options? If a customer accidentally loses socks, because we know we all lose socks, do we respond to the customer in some way that we've lost socks? Just curious how you handle that. Plastic bags versus canvas bags, your own bag. What are some of the ideas, thoughts, how you guys approaching that part of the market, if you could?
So when we launched our walk-in fluff and fold, we always wanted to be higher end from the very beginning. So we have reusable totes that we get from the Green Garmento. That's another partnership. I could probably do cheaper now, but I'm just with them. And so we carried that over to our pickup and delivery too. We do a plastic bag so that we can get everything situated and holding together. And then it goes in our tote with printed tags with their name on it. and we stick in a little business card, who completed your order, please email or call if there's any issues, and put a sticker on top of it, hopefully, every time. And as far as dealing with losses and stuff, actually, I forget who we were talking about, but somebody once emailed me like, you lost one of my socks. And I was like, out of all the things that you actually found in your bag that you thought you were missing, I was like, great. Would an Amazon gift card work? Like, I'm not even going to talk to you about a sock. Like, I was like, yes, just a sock. It varies. I mean, obviously, I can quickly look if there are a reoccurring customer. Since I always handled the phones in the beginning, most of them know me by name, so they're emailing or calling me. Ross, been using your service. This happened. I'm very quick to offer, hopefully, credits before refunds, and then if I have to replace stuff, I will give you more if you'll take credits and less if you take cash. Because if you take credits, you're still coming back to me. If you start your email, I'm never using your service again, you suck, well, I'm going to fight you tooth and nail on how much I'm giving you because you're not coming back. If you're reasonable, we're all human, mistakes happen, then I'll bend over backwards for the customers and pay out.
So, presentation, I'd say this. What are you doing every day to wow your client? Presentation is everything for us. We do exactly what Ross said. We double bag everything. It's in a plastic bag, so it's square, protects it from the elements when it goes out, and then we take it a step further. We put a card, like Ross said, inside the bag, has a QR code on it. Like, how many people use texting? Just curious. And not to text the client to say your order's ready, but like for marketing and communication.
So.
Right. So we have a card, we put 2 cards in every order. One card, it has a QR code. On the back, it says, thank you. And on the front side of it, it says, what can we do better? They scan the QR code, it opens up text messaging on their phone, and it sends them a survey of like 5 questions. Like, which service did you use? Sneaker, laundry, dry cleaning. Like, how would you rank it 1 to 5? A couple other questions, and then the last one is open-ended. What can we do to better your experience? And then the caveat is everyone that fills out a survey, they get entered into a weekly contest to get a $25 gift card from us. And the system does this all automatically. So midnight every week, at the end of the week, it chooses the winner, it texts the winner, congratulations, you're the best, the soapbox loves you. It texts all the ones that lost, like, I'm sorry, try, fill out the next survey, like, we'll enter you in the next contest. And some of you are like, $25 gift cards, Waleed, I'm not buying those every week. Like, you're crazy. Like, New York is some crazy market. I don't spend a penny. I take my business card, which I heard Ross say, and one of his webinars, I believe, with Jordan, and we take the points, and we buy gift cards, and we give them back, and we use the company card to buy the supplies. Like, it's a simple equation. They get a text. When they win, there's a link. They click it. I took every page from my bank that says what gift card you can buy. It's like 8, 9 pages. And they get to scroll through 200 types of gift cards and choose what they want. They're blown away by it, right? Socks. How many people roll socks or they just lay them flat in the bag?
We do both.
Socks are your opportunity. Ross said, somebody complained about a lost sock. Socks are your opportunity to blow your clients away. Like most shops, they just lay them flat in the bag or they ball them up to match them, which kudos, you matched them. But the elastic gets stretched and then their socks look all droopy later on when they're walking down the street. And who are they going to blame? You. But when you buy socks, how do they look? The first thing we always look at is when someone buys clothing, how does it look? Like, go to your department stores one day. Any TJ Maxx, high-end, low-end, I don't care. Look at how they present the clothes to you to purchase. There's a science behind that. They position colors of clothing and they fold it a certain way to entice you. Your orders should mimic what they do in retail shops. We match every sock, fold it, lay it flat. We have a custom sock band that's made from a printing company. And we wrap it around the socks. It says thank you, has our logo, and all of our social media icons. People take pictures of their socks and post it on their Instagram. Can you believe that? The team hits me up and says, Colt, we've got like 3 clients on Instagram today in their stories, and they've got our socks. We're going to repurpose that and repost it and share it with everybody. I'm like, go for it. Socks. Like, think about it. Like, wow the customer. We take a little, everybody here familiar with potpourri? Like, people put them in their house. Like, they make these little bags and it makes your house smell, good or bad, depending how you feel about it. We get organic dried lavender, 40-pound bags, flown in from like somewhere in France. It's some real fancy stuff. And we put it in these little satchels, and we get a little card, 2x2 printed. It says thank you, and on the back it says, this has organic lavender. And there's these things that says lavender is supposed to give you this calming effect and like make you relax. And we were like, bump it, let's stuff it in bags. Every bag that leaves our shop has a small bag of organic lavender stuffed inside. You know why we do it? Because other shops we've seen, they take dryer sheets and they cut them and put them in a bag. So when you open it, you get this burst of freshness. Totally makes sense. I challenge you the next time you have a dryer sheet in your hand, tear it apart. Watch all those white flakes fall out of it. Who wants to breathe that? Do the studies. You put dryer sheets in your pocket and you go outside in the summer, mosquitoes won't come near you. Why do I want that on my clothes? Let alone my clients' clothes. If it kills the mosquitoes, do I want to kill my clients? So we put organic lavender. But here's the thing with the lavender. You open the bag, it smells good. They take the lavender, they put it in their pillows, they put it in their sock drawers, they put it in their underwear drawers. The lavender bag has our name on it. Our brand lives in their household beyond the time that they unpack the laundry. Like, what else can you do to wow the customer with your presentation? Comforters. Sorry, guys. Comforters.
You got like 30 seconds. Get it out.
Okay. Comforters, which I think is a huge moneymaker, and I bet you we're all sleeping on comforters. Here's a tip for everybody. We can talk about it later. Get batch texting, which means you can text your whole client base at one time. Comforters. Divide your lists into quarters. Text every segment of your list, 1 quarter first, 1 quarter second, third and fourth, every couple months. Hey, the National Sleep Association says you should clean your comforters X amount of times for health reasons. You will make more money dry cleaning and washing comforters alone. Like, niche down. Totally niche down. We take comforters, they go in a bag. Comforter bag, cleaner supplies. I don't know, they're like, what, $1.10 depending how many you buy? You can probably get them for cheaper.
If you can get them.
Right. Go to Uline. Go to Uline. I'll tell you, everywhere I go to Uline and order them. Cleaning supplies don't have it, go to Uline. They got them, and their quality is better. You heard it from me. I said it on camera. Hopefully Cleaning Supply doesn't cut off my supply next week.
All right, but I'm cutting you off. All right, we got another question.
And wrap it with a bow, put it in a bag, it's clear, with your name, and give it to him. Go, Jordan. Sorry.
We got time for 2 questions. We got one here, one here.
Sorry.
Hi, my name is Jorge from Miami, company named Hamper App. We've been doing pickup and delivery for 5 years. We do an average on daily 75 orders. In the first 3-4 years, we were doing only advertisement for residential. But in the last 1 year, we've been doing, and we were getting commercial accounts. Around 10% of our revenue was coming from commercial. But in the last year, we will start advertising for commercial accounts. And right now, we have 50% of our revenue comes from commercial. I heard, Ross, you have a route in the morning for commercial. How much of your revenue comes from commercial, and if they also do commercials?
So pre-COVID, we were 70% commercial and 30% retail. And then day one of lockdown, we were 0% commercial. through the next year of COVID, we went 3 times what we were doing in residential pre-COVID, but then our commercials started to come back different. We do a lot of medical and I don't know what spa med stuff, and now like more boutique doctors' offices are popping up, like women health centers and stuff, and we do those now. And then as we kind of came out of lockdown, all of our original yoga and boxing gyms and stuff like that came back. So we stayed up on residential, but came back much bigger in commercial as things reopened.
Anybody else commercial, residential, like how much you guys are doing?
We're probably 90% residential.
Mostly residential. What about you guys?
Yeah, same. We used to, kind of try to make exceptions for commercial and take it on, but recently we've realized if we start focusing in 3 or 4 different directions and try to be everything to everyone, you end up doing things, kind of mediocre at times. And so we will do commercial, but only if they allow us to treat them just like a residential customer.
Waleed, I need 2 numbers from you and nothing else. Percentage of residential and percentage. That clock is wrong. You got 1 minute. No, that's not a number. Percentage of residential. Give me a number.
We're here to give.
No, I need a number.
We're here to give value. We're probably 75 residential, 25 commercial.
All right, done. Good.
Go after commercial. That's all I'm going to say. And don't think of commercial like you got to go after these huge accounts that Dave mentioned earlier. I'm telling you, go next door to the. I'm not a fan of restaurants, but anyway, go to bakeries because of grease. That's the only reason I say restaurants. Go to bakeries, go to spas, go to nail salons, go to barbershops, go to in and outpatient clinics. Go to your retailer department store and ask them, can you clean the uniforms for them?
All right, I think we have one more question over here. Where's the off button on this? I'm just kidding. Dude, and seriously, yesterday too, I'm giving you a hard time about being quiet, but so much good stuff is coming out. And hopefully this is just whetting your guys' appetite. Come chat with these guys. All of these guys are accomplished pickup and delivery. Waleed will, he'll tell you, well, where are my guys at? How late were you guys out last night with Waleed talking pickup and delivery? I set you guys up. Waleed was getting out. I was like, hey, Waleed, come talk to these guys for a second. Then I left, and yeah. Okay, last question.
This is Statement. Hi, Jessica. The Commerce and Chill with Waleed. I'll say your question, Mr. Connecticut, about gauging the size of the audience. Government contracting is an opportunity for pickup and delivery.
Huge.
It's its own subset under commercial. And with the government, they have forecasts of how much they anticipate to spend. And so you can work with your local PTAC, that stands for Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Our tax dollars pay for people to help us find contracts. Go to your PTAC, register under the NAICS code for laundry dry cleaning services, and ask them to provide you with a forecast of the spending for laundry services. If you get a contract with one agency, that could help you determine how well and how fast you grow your pickup and delivery business. And from there, the rest is history. If you want the master playbook for pickup and delivery, in the gift bag, there's a card, scan a QR code, make an appointment with Waleed, and he and I will give you the playbook.
Did you see how succinct that was? That was so succinct and helpful,
The federal website is fedsbiz.op. That's and sam.gov. And the PTAC is totally free, that Jess was saying. Our tax dollars pay for them to sit down with you and help you grow your small business. It's 100% free.
Yeah, so here's the deal. Go book, block off 6 hours of your day and then book an appointment with Waleed. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, can you do me a favor and give these guys a huge hand? Thank you guys so much. You guys have been awesome. You got standing ovations coming your guys' way. Like, beautiful stuff. Appreciate you guys a lot.
I'm blowing up like you thought I would. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. And if you don't